Hey there, Fortnite fans. Today we're taking a look at action figures based on characters released in Fortnite Season 6. And since we are currently in the Season 6 of Fortnite OG, I thought this would be a really appropriate just to kind of look over what we've gotten and what's been released. Now, I don't have everything. I have all the 4-inch action figures as far as I know that have currently been released. And I have all of the Legendary series from Jazzwares, the 6-inch figures released, and I think I might be missing a couple from the McFarlane. We have Dark Bomber over here and AIM there, and I know I'm missing characters like Dire, and I'm not sure if there's anybody else I'm missing. And then up front here, we have the 2-inch Moose Toys action figures. And if you'll notice, based off of the last video I did on OG Season 5, we don't have any Nendroids here. We don't have any 2.5-inch Jazzwares figures here, and we certainly don't have any 12-inch figures. I could fill this place up with the 12-inch figures. They are so tall, and so we're not going to talk about the 12-inch figures. We are sticking mostly to these, what I would classify as mainline, and absolutely no Funko Pops, because then we would really be full. So let's take a closer look at each of these groups of figures. Here are the 2-inch Moose Toys action figures, well, if you can call them action figures, that I have. And I'm sure there's a few more that I don't have. I don't have all the Moose Toys yet. But we begin with Hollowhead. And this was kind of neat. I like the Hollowhead character, but the thing with Moose Toys is that they kind of had some basic colors. They didn't really color and everything. And someone like this character, I think, could have done well to have maybe some glow-in-the-dark, at least around the pumpkin head here. Then we got Giddy Up, and he's always a fascinating... I'm just knocking things around. He's always a very fascinating character and figure just because he's riding that llama. As you can tell, some of these don't stand up very well, and that's one of the big gripes I have, is the way they stand isn't always very well. We have Dire right here, and actually I should have swapped him with, or swapped DJ Yonder with Calamity, because these two come in a 4-pack, and there is a rare 4-pack out there where Dire is white and Calamity, I don't remember at the moment, but there's some different colors for Calamity. And while we're on Calamity, she's pretty cool. Then we have a Skull Ranger, and some of these figures rotate at the waist. I think Dire rotates at... Nope, he doesn't. Just the arms and the neck. And so, I don't know, can you classify these action figures when they only rotate mostly at the neck and the arms? And we got DJ Yonder over here, and that pretty much wraps it up for the Moose Toys figures. In fact, she's actually now having difficulties since I pulled the arm forward. Let's bring the arms back, and she stands much, much better. In fact, I don't think any of these rotate at the waist. Some do, but none of these do. Let's move on to the big group. So here we have the big group. This is the largest action figure group based off of Season 6 characters, and this is none other than the Jazzwares 4-inch line. It's the most prolific of all the Fortnite action figure lines out there. Now, these are put up here in no particular order, except Dire. I wanted to kind of get in and talk about him real quick and get him out, because these figures are difficult to stand, and if any of these figures make the others fall over, it seems to be these two. So what's up with Dire? Well, we have 2 versions of him, and we actually have a third one, hopefully coming very soon. It's more of a blue and a gray, a light gray. This is a dark gray, but this was released in a 4-pack that was only on Amazon and had all of the releases. So if you wanted the white Dire figure, you had to rebuy 3 other figures if you already owned those. This guy right here came in a Turbo Builder set with Fable. See, look. There we go. See? That's why I wanted to take care of Dire. Because I've mentioned before, and I'll say it again, these figures, for some reason, don't stand the best. For some reason, a lot of the older ones, they like to fall over. And so, there's the newer ones. The newer ones stand a lot better. So, what I was going to say before this dude decided to cause chaos, because, you know, werewolves do that, he came in a Turbo Builder set with Fable. Let's get her more front and center here. So this is Fable, and she is a cool figure and a really awesome skin. I was a little bit disappointed here in this figure. I didn't think it really represented the in-game character as well as it should have. The hood will come off so you can see her red hair, her red ponytailed hair, but she seems short and condensed and kind of wide, and I know those are not a lot of positives there, but if she could have been a little bit taller, more slender, like she is in-game, then I think this could have been a really banger, a really awesome. I know a bunch of people were waiting for this character to get an action figure, and mine came with a crack here, actually, on the shoulder. And so I don't know if that's a common thing or not. I'm going to set some of these figures off to the side as I talked about them, just simply because I don't really want to have them all fall over, and I'll just kind of roughly set them back up again so that we have some semblance of order. Yeah, Brainiac is just he's gonna go sailing here in a minute. And, well, thank you, Frostbite, for setting Ruckus correctly. And, yeah, golly, this stuff is fun, right? Let's talk Moth Mando. So Moth Mando here, he was also desirable among a lot of people, and this has been a figure really difficult to get. In fact, there's a possibility there's quite a few of you that still don't even have this figure. It was one of those on the list of getting made but never released in the US. Or I shouldn't say never, but not released in the US until a few months ago when it showed up with its wave, a part of its wave at Walmart. And some of you were able to get him, and some of you weren't. And if you're lucky, you might still find a Walmart with him. I haven't seen this figure, but it's a really cool figure, and I think, you know, it's possible that the figures that are hard to obtain are the desirable ones, versus that, I don't know, he is kind of a cool looking character. I mean, really, a moth humanoid action figure. It's really cool. Someone did leave in my comments, I believe on this review, that if you pop him apart, so he doesn't have a lot of articulation right there, he's kind of stuck there, but if you, pop him apart, take out this waist area, slide this back on, and pop that back in, you can't see that he's missing a waist. Yet he's got, let's actually hook him back on. You can't see that he's missing the waist piece, yet he now has some really good articulation. So I'm grateful and happy to that person who dropped that tip. I'm actually going to attempt to reassemble him on camera. Don't ever do stuff like that. Don't try to redo stuff. But then he's back to his kind of stiffer articulation. So I really like that idea. And sometimes when I want to pose him, I do remove that waist piece. Then over here, next we've got, let's just talk Dark Bomber. She was way back from Wave 2, and everyone speculated that this was simply a bright bomber repaint, but it's not exactly. It's missing netting all over the place. And it's a cool figure, except for it suffers from early, and I'll say early, the later Jazzwares female figures are better, but suffers from early female Jazzwares, I don't know, odd looks. The female kind of looks odd in the early, and she is kind of up there with them. But that's fun from Series 2 solo, and Frostbite, I believe, is Series 3 solo, and he's just mostly a Raptor. Do we have Havoc yet? A Raptor repaint. He comes with his chillax, but I think he's pretty cool. I think this is I like the colors on this figure, and I think it still kind of holds up, and it's kind of neat that we got some of these kind of more random figures. You just lay you down. This is all about to be a Ruckus. So yes, here we do. Here we have Ruckus, and this is kind of like the Mad Max. I'm really far away. I could be a little bit closer, I suppose. But this is like a Mad Max style of character. He is so crazy and so interesting. Look at that blue hair just flying every which way. That, he's just interesting. And I believe he was either in Wave 2 or Wave 3. He was a solo. He may have come out with Frostbite in Series 3. But he has got so much going on for him. This is just a really awesome, crazy character. So maybe the signal that we've talked about, the character of the figure, I'll lay them down. We got DJ Yonder over here, and he's got a bit of a problem that bugs me. And he was also from Series 2 or Series 3 solo. And that problem is in regards to his harvesting tool. So his harvesting tool here has stickers attached. So it's not paint, it's stickers. And the stickers keep wanting to come off. And from day one, I have struggled to keep these stickers on. And if you've got this figure, I'd be curious to know, have you had sticker trouble as well over the years or during the time you've had it? This is one of the first times I really noticed that these figures have paint issues in regards to if you have something, I'll bring him a little bit closer, but if you have something like right up against the figure, then you might have some paint rub. There's a little black speck right there. Up here you got a black smudge there, and down here he's got a little bit of gold, if you can see that. And this is actually a harder plastic surface for this figure. The softer ones, let's see. Let's go here to Calamity, who, oh man, I was excited. This is a cool figure. I really like this one. She has not soft goods, but soft rubber. And so if you put accessories, specifically like gold guns, up against this soft rubber, it will transfer and it will leave marks. I should have showed you with the wild cards from the last video, the season 5 video, but the soft goods, actually here, let's pull Giddy Up over here. If you see, Giddy Up's llama has some black marks on it, and that's from different weapons, and here are some other brown bits from different weapons up against it. And so there's a bit of a paint leak from that. Please stand up, we're not done with you. So anyway, yeah, Calamity's pretty cool. She's really like, she's not a heavy figure, but man, she has got so much on her. It's crazy how much stuff is all over her. I was kind of hoping for a different style, and I'm still hoping we get some different styles of her someday in the future. I hope we are not done with Calamity, because this is actually one of my more favorite characters, even if I don't own the Battle Pass version of her. I think she's a pretty cool cowgirl. Then we have Skull Ranger, and I really like Skull Ranger. I know that it's probably pretty similar to the Bright Bomber and Dark Bomber figures, but I really like this one. I think this one's pretty slick. The skull painting is pretty nice, and there is actually a face here and that's molded in, and I like how the paint is able to kind of overpower the molded face, so to speak, so you get this specific face. I just like this figure. I think this is a pretty cool one. This came with a birthday llama, so this figure came with a pile of accessories, back blings, the weapons, and some sprays. So I don't know, I like Skull Ranger a lot. I think she's pretty cool. Back here, let's talk about AIM, and he's trying to also knock figures over. So AIM is pretty cool. I like AIM a lot. This is definitely one of my favorites. He used to be in my top 10. He's probably now in maybe top 20, top 25 or so. And just because of the look, he's a robot, and he's got the colors I like, some reds and some silvers. What's interesting about AIM, and he's definitely not the first, the Visitor's the first, but what he is the first on is he came with these editing building materials. So if you wanted to mix this in with some of your brick or your metal or wood, you could, and it would make it kind of look like you were in the middle of editing. So, I mean, that was kind of cool. He also came with this umbrella. Was it the third one? We had the Visitor, or no, we had Omega, the Visitor, and then AIM. So I think this was the third early game survival kit, and he came with the Snowflake umbrella. But I think this figure is just really cool. I've seen people customize and repaint this figure into some amazing, really amazing things. Then we get Brainiac, who was also just recently released in a Walmart set that had featured glow-in-the-dark. This one is not the glow-in-the-dark version. He's just a really crazy Jonesy zombie. And, you know, I'm not huge into zombies, but he's okay. He kind of looks a little sickly to me. We talked about Dark Bomber, and let's go right to Spooky Team Leader. This, I think, is one of the female figures from the very beginning as Cuddle Team Leader that Jazzwares did really well. She stands tall, she's a slender figure, kind of like the game models. Not saying females have to be slender, I'm just talking about how they look like with the game models in game. But she's not real wide, and I think she looks like a really awesome female figure, and I like this one. I like the colors, I like the design, I think it's pretty cool. Same with Brainiac over here. She was recently re-released as a glow-in-the-dark version with a Walmart squad mode, and it kind of worked well. Then we got Giddy Up, and Giddy Up is just fun. He's interesting. I like how it looks like he's riding a llama, that, it's one of these things where you wear this item and you've got these feet here and it looks like he's riding his llama and maybe the llama's running, or I don't know. He's really cool. He is a bit difficult to stand, and yeah, so you got to make sure he's really balanced well. You can actually take him out of the llama if you pop him apart and pop him back together. So you can actually get this figure out of the llama, and so yeah, I mean, he looks like a good figure that way as well. It's interesting that he's got some nice kind of metallic, almost green back here on his back, and then the computer screen has a bit of a metallic blue. I don't remember seeing that very often on these figures, but that's some really neat paintwork that I like on the figure. We get Longshot here, and I'll be honest, I'm not a huge Longshot fan, but one interesting thing I noticed, or I have noticed in the past, is how he wasn't completely painted. I'd have to look at this character again in-game, but they didn't finish painting some of the midsections, and unfortunately, it seems like sometimes, once in a while, Jazzwares, I shouldn't say Jazzwares, it's not really their fault directly, it's the company, the factory that makes the figures, they seem to miss this midsection, like these upper legs for some reason. And I don't know, Longshot's not like a crazy cool character to me, kind of weird, dusty, sandy type of character, and I'm sure somebody out there likes him, but man, he's definitely not one of my favorites. So here is Spider Knight, and I like him mainly for one reason is I can own this character in-game. This is like, I would say, maybe a poor man's Black Knight, so to speak, or, if you weren't around in Season 1 and you didn't unlock that Black Knight at level 70, then you could buy this dude in the the item shop, and you could have a knight. And so this is Spider Knight, and while he's not my favorite character in game or figure, he's not bad looking. He's definitely not the worst. This figure came out early 2020. If I remember, was it early 2020? I think it was early 2020. And just before things went crazy around us. And then finally, for the last Jazzwares, it's like we're eliminating them as we go. That's kind of funny. Then we get to the last one, and that is Deadfire. And man, I remember seeing this figure at Toy Fair 2021, I think it was. It was 2021 or... yeah, I think it was 2021 or 2022. It was a Toy Fair. It was a big booth that was leaked. Pictures were leaked out. And I saw the packaging and I saw the colors like, that's Deadfire. And that's like the reactive version or something of him. Something that's multicolored. It's not the regular one. It's like the purple one. And this guy came with the big brute, which I did not have. I didn't think about bringing the brute. The big cube brute. But I liked that 2-pack. I thought that was pretty cool. This was an interesting set. It was released, but then like a couple months later, it was clearanced. And that was kind of weird how fast it was clearanced. And this guy went down to like, I don't know what, $5 or $7? He seemed to go really cheap, at least around at my stores. All right, so that is the end. We have eliminated all of the Jazzwares 4-inch figures. Let's take a look at the last few larger figures. So the first figure we have here is from Jazzwares 6-inch Legendary Series line, DJ Yonder, and he's equipped with a few of his accessories as well as wearing his back bling. What I liked about this figure specifically is that with the Legendary Series, they actually released emotes. And at first, I didn't realize that was possible to release emotes. When this one came out, honestly, I didn't realize this was an emote in-game. I just thought, that's a really cool accessory. It can hook right there onto his waist. And on a side note, you want to be careful if you hook this around the coat and unhook too many times, they will break. I've been through at least one of these. This is my second accessory. So if you don't want it to break, just be careful. But I didn't realize this was an emote that could be released. And I thought, when I discovered that, I thought this was really, really cool. And so I liked that. I was really impressed with that. So he has... most of the Legendary Series figures have replaceable faceplates. They just decide to articulate his mouth so it couldn't open and shut and everything. And, I would say DJ Yonder is kind of an acquired taste. I mean, it's like a DJ with a llama head, but his mask will come off and there's actually a person under there. But the first time I ever saw this character in 4-inch form, I thought, oh my goodness, what a crazy looking. I really had to start getting in and looking at all. That's when I started really looking through the skin database the character database, so the outfit database. Well, I'll get it right here. And so that's when I started discovering the really weird world of characters from Fortnite. Now, I do like his harvesting tool. These are painted on. No, they're stickers. Wait, are they? These are stickers that stay on well. I thought they were painted on. My light is actually showing I can see the edge. So these are actually stickers. Well, I'm surprised. They stay on very well compared to the 4-inch version. So let's scoot him off to the side, and we are now going to look at the only two McFarlane 7-inch figures that I have, AIM and Dark Bomber. And both of these, I think, for the most part, are an overall success. I really like both of them. Unfortunately, as much as I do like Dark Bomber, she is loose. She is a very wiggly, things move all over her, on her. I don't mean to make that sound bad. But let's look at AIM here for a minute. This guy, you could actually blend him in really well, I think, with this Jazzwares Legendary Series. Sure, he's a little bit taller, but all that and he fall over. But, who's to say the robot isn't just a little bit taller? So this one would blend in really well, I think, with most Fortnite lines. Even the Hasbro line you could probably put in there with. And he's really cool. He's a little bit heavy. He's a little bit tight. His legs work really well. But the one thing I learned about these two figures, specifically these two, is the hands. I'm waiting for her to fall over. But anyway, I had to warm up the hands just to get these harvesting tools in their hands because the grip just lay back there. Something. Yeah, do something like that, Dark Bomber. The plastic is either so hard or it's hardened up over time that I had to use a hairdryer, a heater, to get the accessories in, and that's kind of a bummer. These figures look cool. So with McFarlane, at least with these, I think they're meant to just be placed on a wall, placed on a shelf, and looked at and displayed. So yeah, that's pretty much what you do with these guys. And then we have Dark Bomber here. And what I like about Dark Bomber is she shimmers. Do you see that as I rotate her around? Do you see that kind of a metallic, especially in the shoulders up here, the back bling, and down around this area? The upper, the thighs, whatever. She has nice metallic paint, and she's got a pretty good face sculpt. Compared to a lot of the Fortnite figures, her face sculpt, let's see, how close we can get. I think she's got a pretty good face sculpt on this figure. And yeah, she's just really cool. Unfortunately, like I said, she's really loose. And you could set her up, and she'll fall over, at least on this left foot, pretty well. But even though she's loose, I really like this figure. I wish she was a 6-inch figure so that she could more easily fit in. But she might just have to be like one of these tall, volleyball players or something that just, blends in really well with the short guys. I don't know. But anyway, yeah, this is pretty cool. And these are the tall. If I can get her to stand, stay. Please stay. Lean back. But yeah, these are the 3 6-inch or higher tall figures, minus the 12 figures, of Fortnite figures. And there you have it, all of these really cool figures that are based off of Season 5. Thank you for stopping by and watching. I will see you in the next video.